Welcome back. It's part 2 of Ascended Warriors series with Ty Hudnall. Last time we talked about the spiritual cycles that mirror our personal evolution. Today we zoom out, way out, and we look at the astrology transitions for the United States itself. We explore this nation's Pluto Return, the karmic lessons that are being revealed, and how these cosmic patterns invite each of us to rise in consciousness. Let's step into the chart of America and see what the stars are teaching us. Let's get started.
Well, let's take a look at what America's going through now. So on the outer wheel, you'll see the transits of today, which is a new moon. You'll see at the top of the chart, you got the sun and the moon coming together. That's a new moon. It is an
Oh, that's right.
eclipse.
It's a good day to be doing this too.
Yeah, it's a solar eclipse
Yeah.
today. This one's a lot less intense than the lunar eclipse that we just went through. That one was rough. So everybody out there that went through it, I'm sorry, you do have a destiny and you do have a path in this life. Do not forget it and do not throw yourself away because of it.
It will not let you deviate. It'll keep unfeathering your nest until you pay attention.
It is not playing. Okay. So if you see down here, Pluto and Pluto, this is the symbol here. Pluto's 1 degrees Aquarius, and our Pluto for America is 27 degrees Capricorn. Okay. And, there's another symbol in this area too. This is America's finances. And if America was a person, I would tell them in their reading, I would say that in past lives, you had an erratic loss of value or money. Okay. And America is that energy's coming forward in a way. And I believe it's very symbolic of the Fed, the fiat currency that was supposed to, of course, go for 99 years. And I think it's up to 120 something. Okay. And so it was created in this way that 99 years down the road, we would have to figure out something. Why didn't we? Why didn't we figure out something? Okay. And of course, the early 2000s is why we didn't figure out something. We got distracted by some things. And, I don't care who's behind anything. I can only look at what happened as an astrologer and how it affected the people and our direction. But, in 1999 into 2000, 2001 and 2, we should have changed the financial system at that time.
Yeah,
But
well, we
there's
got
too much
distracted.
greed. Well, there's too much greed.
Yeah.
And America, how greedy do we have to get before we realize that we are destroying ourselves and our future for our children? And it's obviously pretty greedy. Okay. Because notice that it's easy for us to compartmentalize that reality, and not look at what we could be doing in the world if we had those things to do it with. And see, the financial system is a debt system, so it's not developed to help people. It's not a system of worth, it's a system of slavery. And it says debt on the dollar, okay? On the note, it says debt.
Does it?
It does. Debt note, okay? And that is, for me personally, I've always had a problem with it, okay? And I cannot interact with it in the way that other people do. And it has not been easy with that, okay? Because once you know it's slavery, how can you go back and live in it like it's going to fulfill you in any way?
Right.
So I do think the world needs a shift. And, we have an asset-backed world. Well, why don't we have asset-backed money? Why? We used to. And we've gone through this. There's actually history, if you want to look some of it up, it's fascinating of when we've done this in America's history of created a Federal Reserve and create a fiat currency.
When did
Okay.
we move away from that?
Our ancestors, they convinced them to turn in all their gold. They convinced them to get rid of the precious metals and to go for it, of course. And they did. And, for me personally, okay, and I'm going to blame this on college a little bit, okay? I was in a college economics class, and the book in class was Will America Grow Old? I don't know if you ever came across this,
Uh-uh.
but in this economics class, this is 2000, maybe, no, this is like 97, okay? 97, 98, 30 years ago. And in the book, he shows that America's social system and Social Security could not ever, ever go past 2017
Okay.
because the numbers do not add up on any way because the baby boomers is a huge population of people.
Hmm.
And they are living longer than our ancestors ever
Absolutely.
did, right? And there is no way they can meet it.
Hmm.
And that really changed my perspective of where America was headed. And I wish I was disappointed, okay, and wrong. Okay. I do really wish I was wrong because notice that our parents are those people,
Yep.
and they have really bought into the social system in this way. But when they've dipped into it over and over again, they've decimated it. They have done really terrible things and then propped it up any way they can.
Mm.
Okay. Because who's voting for presidents? Okay. They
Yeah.
are. The
Yeah.
rest of us are like, I don't know if I even want to be involved.
Yeah. I
Okay.
haven't had a I haven't had a candidate I've wanted to vote for in my voting lifetime.
Right.
It's the lesser of two evils is really how I've always had to look at it.
And, that comes to, us needing a third party system to
Absolutely.
create any balance at all.
Hmm.
But of course, nobody is ever talking about that or interested in that in any way. Okay. And I think it's because our nature is to destroy ourselves.
Mm.
And it's not the political world just a mockery of destroying our connection to each other, neighbors. All the stories I hear about people now.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
it's definitely coming to a head.
Right. So, on that note,
Mm.
America is going through its dark night of the soul. And just recently, Saturn and Neptune went to the fourth house of the chart here, transit. Now, for the last 2.5 years, from late 2022, America was around communication and restriction of information and also restriction of individuality
Hmm.
has been a major thing. And America's been depressed. Okay. And we had to come out and start communicating. And do you remember fact checking?
Oh yeah. I still
Saturn,
I still request fast checking websites. They just aren't very good anymore.
right. This is the communication house and Saturn sit on it. In 2022, talk about fact checking. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Okay. And, at the end of this period of idealism that we've been in, we are seeing the destruction and the restriction of what it is not to trust ourselves.
Mm.
And that's what everybody's being asked right now to trust themselves. And if you don't trust yourself, then everything has betrayed you. Okay. And I'm sorry, but we only betray ourselves.
Mm. It's
And
a spiritual journey. It's an internal one. Nothing is going to open your path for you. You have to look within. It's
right.
already there. So the
I
mirror
mean, right.
between what the US pattern and what society appears to be dealing with at large is incredible.
It is. The fear of not having security will be
Yeah.
dealt with in 2026. And, you know, there's another interesting thing that's happening, which is not necessarily America oriented, but it's really come to my attention lately. And before I get there, I want to say that this restructuring of our inner security and our inner spirituality is going to come through a very different energy than we've been living in.
Hmm.
And that energy is very tangible, and we call it harmony through conflict. And it says that what we face, we change. What we run away from, we don't.
Yeah. The path of the warrior.
And yes, it's Aries. So it
Hmm.
is time for Americans to understand that there is no more room to be soldiers. It's time for us to be warriors, and
Mm.
warriors put themselves first and they face death so that nobody or nothing inside of them can use it against them. We have to start living like we have nothing to lose.
Mm.
And what do we really have to lose? Have we not lost everything in the last couple of years? Like our families, our
Mm.
sanity, okay, our being able to
Trust.
talk to somebody on the
Yeah.
street without them losing their minds,
Yeah.
okay, right? So, on a different note, one thing we get into astrology, there's a lot of books that say that when we discover a planet, we are ready to consciously process that. For example, the Uranus was discovered and we had the Industrial Revolution. It changed
Mm.
everything on the planet. Neptune was discovered. We have photography at the same time coming forward where you can take a picture of something and if there's some things there that weren't there in your eyesight.
That's so
Okay.
cool.
Pluto was discovered and we made the atomic bomb.
Ugh.
Uh-huh. Right. And in 1977, Chiron was discovered.
Hmm.
And Chiron it's just a little smaller than Earth. Okay. They call it a planetoid. Okay. Earth is really small. Okay. On the scale of things in the universe. But Chiron orbits in between Saturn and Uranus. And this is structure and revolution. This is what we call the rainbow bridge between the two. And in your brain, we would call that the corpus callosum.
Hmm.
It's what connects your hemispheres together. And Americans, everybody, we are half-brain people where we think we can fix everything. And when we're not there, we feel like the past repeats itself and everything keeps happening over and over to us. And that is the tilting of our magnetic field to the left or the right brain.
Hmm.
Now Chiron represents what it is to live multidimensionally and to face the lesson of loss and separation, which is death. And as we get older and our parents pass and friends pass, and we begin to face what it is to live by facing death, and is a big part of the Chironic journey. And this next year, 2026, Chiron turns 49 years old from its discovery. And its cycle is a 49 to 51 year cycle, which we call the consciousness crisis. And so America or the whole planet is going through 2026, 2027, 2028, its consciousness crisis. And we can either choose to live in the light and matter of the world, which makes up 3% of it, and think that's all that exists. Or we can look at the unseen world and realize that our feelings are important.
Hmm.
And, science even tells us now that the unseen part of everything bends light and connects every single thing together in the universe called the cosmic web.
Hmm.
Okay. And I usually ask people, what's the percentage of manifesting something from 3% versus 97? Okay. So our world thinks that only what is seen is available, but how they feel about things tells a different story. And since we are trained to avoid our feelings, okay, that means we begin to attract everything that we don't want through the law of sympathetic vibration.
Right.
I'm like, no, universe. And it's like, oh, you want this?
Yeah.
Cool. You're telling me, please give it to me.
Yeah. We put out that message over and over again. It will eventually give it to us.
It loves to give it to us because it hears how we
Yeah.
feel. It doesn't hear what we think or do. You know? So if healing emotional problems was intellectual, I tell my clients usually that you're a very smart person. You would have figured this shit out already. It's not
Right.
intellectual, it's physics, it's sound, and it adheres to the laws of physics, not our opinions. That's why if you feel betrayed, you just didn't stop feeling betrayed. You may become bitter. If you feel judged, you didn't stop feeling judged. You just pushed it away and detached from yourself, which didn't allow forgiveness to come in and understanding to come in. And it's time for us to go through things and realize that we were taught to live against nature.
Mm.
We were taught that we are separate from nature. And that means that we don't even know how we fit into the universe itself. And it's basically light and sound. Okay. Your body takes light, turns it into sound. You get vitamin D in your blood. And then you take sound, your feelings, turn them into light and say, oh, I feel so much lighter.
Mm.
Real simple. Dr. Richard Gerber wrote that book, Vibrational Medicine, 45 years ago. He said if we taught the kids this, they probably wouldn't feel as disconnected from everything and have to seek everything outside of themselves to be valued in any way. So I'm sure the problems that we're having right now, every generation has seen these problems, but we're the generation that is here to create a new foundation of integrity, of worth, and family values. And that's what I see being destroyed in the world. And why? Why are we destroying the family? Why don't we honor the dead in our country anymore? I don't really get it because I know we love our grandparents and we love our parents, okay? But we don't have a way to face those things, a way to face death. And that's what this Chiron return is coming forward, that if we don't face death, your mind will use it against you. And
And
if
it
you've
being in
ever,
the fourth house, how does that play with the
our feelings are heart. It's the heart of America.
mm,
It's imagine that the number of the houses are your chakras. So that's the heart chakra.
heart?
Yeah. So notice that our whole country and world thinks being concerned means you care. Does it?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, I usually have to do it this way for people because usually when concern comes out of us, we don't feel how it feels. So I usually have to say, okay, here's concern and care. And I usually apologize before I say it because I know it's going to feel real shitty. And I'll say, I'm concerned you're headed down the wrong path. Go ahead and feel that. And I give it a minute. And then I say, I care about the path that you are on.
Mm.
Which do you prefer?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Right.
The concern, it's fearful, it's judgmental, it's yeah, it's just coming from the wrong intention.
It is. And the fear of not having security makes us think that we should be able to control things instead of trust ourselves.
Right. Which is what you talked about. And again, this is mirroring the US going out and destabilizing other countries to make themselves feel more secure. All of the fixes have been external, they haven't been internal. There's no internal looks to say, how do we become who we want to become? It's all, how do we destroy everything else so that we look less less messed up? it's
Right.
it's a beautifully twisted mirror that is so
Absolutely.
unaligned with nature and the spiritual journey. It's like it's on its head.
It is. You know, America is going through a revolution in health, and it started about 2 years ago. And
Mm.
America's health house is Taurus, which rules the thyroid. Hypothyroidism in America is an epidemic.
I've got it.
Hmm. Right. It's everywhere. And of course, our food is most likely the cause. Our diet
Yeah.
is the cause of that. And many people are finally revolutionizing their diet. Everybody remember the food pyramid.
Oh, God bless. Yes.
If we want to really look back and say this is where the corporations decided that selling their products were way more important than your health,
Amen.
okay?
Yes.
The confusion that that pyramid has made, okay, is unbelievable because we think that carbs are healthy for us in a way. And um, in that way. And they're not bad for us, but some of us don't process them very well.
Mm,
And some of of course, the pesticides and stuff that we turn a blind eye to,
yeah.
for convenience again,
Yeah.
is also we're wondering, well, why are we sick? I bought the organic.
Oh gosh. Just the sheer volume of ingredients that don't do anything for the product except make it unhealthy. And we do it because they get to get money for putting their ingredient in there. They make money. It does zero for you or for your nutritional value or for the object that it's in, but it
Right.
gains money for somebody.
Yeah, I love those videos where it shows Europe and America and the
Yep.
list of ingredients, and you're like, it's a whole
Horrifying.
nother paragraph.
It's horrifying.
It is.
And
It is.
I'm glad that people are coming out and talking about it, but they're not incentivized to change yet.
Right. So 2026 will be the dark night of the soul of America. And we're moving from the synergy I call, okay, to this is what we're doing.
This is what we got to do.
This is our path, And I think people are going to come together because they try to tell us that this idea that the strongest always takes over. But when we do the experiments and put people in situations where they have to work together or die, they work together. So
Yeah.
our nature is community. We just have been told that it's not.
Mm.
And we've been isolated.
Yeah.
So there
And
is
turned
some
against
good
each
news.
other.
Right. There is some good news. And America is expanding through its transformational point, which
Mm.
could be things behind the scenes to affect the financial system, to affect America's voice in the world, its
Mm.
soul in the world, okay? And also America's hopes, dreams, and aspirations of the future that we want to create. Because if, and here's the deal, and please, nobody take it personally, but if you're still involved in the politics, then they got you already. If you give a damn about either side and not your neighbor and the
Mm.
things that they're having to go through and hardships, then we've all lost sight of what America really is. Because isn't America where we nurture each other and help each other through this shit?
Yeah.
So,
Expansion, freedom,
right.
pride. That's a very profound statement. I would put that on a bumper sticker. If you're still paying attention to politics, you have lost.
Yeah, right. Because if you choose a side right now, you become so imbalanced
Yes.
in everything, and everything is against the other thing. And notice, if you guys could tell me one time it wasn't against it, go back in time in your life, find me one time that the red and the blue weren't against each other on
Mm.
every level and playing out this soap opera, okay? Because they all work for the same corporation.
Right.
It's called the Corporation of America, and we just read its chart,
Mm-hmm.
okay? And that's kind of what we need to change because I don't think America should be a corporation. I'm not a corporation. I don't accept the corporatization of my being. Okay. I even think in the international courts, they went out trying to basically say that if you ate GMO corn, then we own you. Okay. How ridiculous is that shit? Okay. Okay. We changed you, so we own you. What?
Mm.
I don't even know if that's true, by the way, but I remember that was like, okay, and that could have been insanity because there's a lot of insanity out there, of course. Okay.
But the potential and what we were set up with the opportunities to do and the tools to use are incredible. We just have to come together in community and use them and not be ruled by anything external like that. And I'm not talking laws or those, but these systems set up to benefit a very small percentage of people and hurt the rest of us. It's
America needs heart
incredible.
coherence. It is
It does.
incredible. But America needs heart coherence.
Yeah.
And America has anxiety and depression.
It's like an epidemic.
Right. So this is the chance on the fourth house here on the heart for America to understand the integrity and the discipline that it takes to face and stand for what we care about. And when I say that, I mean each other.
Yeah.
We care about each other because, cancer and home and family, America does not exist without the family.
Mm.
Okay. And for all the groups that the political sides have been telling should be validated by somebody else, I encourage you to go to your grandparents and ask them if they were validated in this world by a damn thing.
Yeah. And if the system did everything it promised when they finally got to the end and were able to retire,
Right.
are you getting to live your best life now that you've done all this for the structures? Oh, that's so depressing.
It
But
is, isn't it?
it's very depressing.
It is. It's sad in a way. We just had this eclipse, the lunar eclipse, and it was at a 150-degree angle to America's Saturn in structure,
Mm.
which is create or destroy. And so we are coming into this place that America's been in a free fall financially. And it started with, of course, printing $13 trillion and putting it into the economy and devaluing the economy.
Yeah.
But it started before that. And in 2018, Pluto arrived on America's financial house, and Pluto minimalizes things down to its roots.
Mm.
And then in 2019 and 2020, Saturn joined it there. And if you're a Sagittarius rising person out there, during 19, 20, 21 to 22, your whole financial reality collapsed. I have plenty of people had a lot of money and then they didn't because of some kind of power struggle that collapsed their financial house. And America went through what we call a last chance lifetime if you're born with it, when you build structures, and if those structures don't work, you destroy them.
Mm.
Now, America, it happened at 23 degrees Capricorn, which is very close to our Pluto and our Pluto return. So it really set up our Pluto return. And notice that we are at a war of opinions, not values.
Mm.
And I think if we remember what our real values are and minimize our opinions, because do we really want to harm our neighbors because they believe something different?
Right.
You know, my mother is hardcore into Christianity, and my practice is to accept her when she doesn't accept me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's my practice because I love her.
Mm.
And, it's not easy when people's beliefs try to overpower what we should or should not do, and choice and freedom to figure it out for ourselves.
Yeah. And they're just the heart. Your opinion should never be more powerful than your heart.
Right.
I mean, we saw that with COVID, with the vaccinated versus the unvaccinated. Certainly, politics,
Right.
religion's become almost a joke as far as dividing people. It has nothing on politics.
Right.
But
Yeah,
we were founded because our families wanted to be free. And they
absolutely.
wanted to be able to worship and believe what felt right to them without persecution.
Right. And now we're attacking each other, you know. I find that, of course, when they pit people against each other, they ignore the real issues.
Absolutely.
Like, my problem with the pandemic was that it was a gene therapy, not necessarily a vaccine. And that's the first time
Mhm.
anything like that has ever come forward for us. It's not like our normal stuff.
Right.
And, you know, if you've ever studied the DNA and the RNA and how your body replicates itself, it's real scary
Right.
to think about those things. And I remember an older gentleman at the store asking me why I wasn't afraid. And I remember saying that if death is coming for me, I'm not going to be able to stop it anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think he cried a little bit, we maybe
Mhm.
both did, because he was, thinking he was doing something, to help me. And I get that, you know. Um, but it's kind of like we've lost our soul and we forgot what's really important. And it's hard to watch.
It
It's
is.
hard to watch the younger generations, which are Pluto and Sagittarius, that they're a little judgmental about things,
Mm.
okay? 1995 to 2008 births. And, they feel like that we messed everything up. And I'm like, probably need to get your history straight because it was not good when we
Right.
got here. Okay.
Yeah.
Our parents and the baby boomers benefited the most from everything that had happened.
They hit a good peak. They did. They rode a good wave.
They did, I think, and I don't know if this is true, but somebody recently said if we were making what our parents and grandparents were making, um, compared to what they could buy and all of that, it'd be about $66 an hour. Okay. To do the life they had, houses, their cars, all of those things, and
Yeah.
in comparison to where we are now, of course. Right. Um, which is very different, isn't it?
Yeah,
And the
absolutely.
fact that the minimum wage is only $20, they pull back on that for a long time. Even if it's that, I'm not even sure if it's that now. But again, that's only a quarter of what would be the equality. So it's like our generation buying homes and stuff like that, you had to really work for it or
Right.
really go into debt for it. And, you know, um, it's been quite interesting. It's been a great time to be here.
So that wraps up part 2 with Ty, an incredible look at America's soul journey through astrology. In the final episode, we're going to bring these ideas home, discuss how you can apply cosmic insight into your own life and awaken your inner warrior. Let's move through these challenges with grace. So stay tuned for part 3, Awakening the Spiritual Warrior, next week.